Okay, so today I wanted to speak about ego. This is one of the most important character traits I think a person needs to have. So I'm gonna just explain a bit about my journey with ego, and why it's so important and why it's so character defining, and how it can take you from zero to something and someone and be one of the greats. Um, so, um, I just want to start by saying that I've always had a small ego. I've never thought that I could actually be someone or something because I always linked ego to being humble. That's why I always felt like being humble is a good thing, of course it is. But in my head, that links with ego and why you should keep it quiet and low. Um, so, First of all, I don't think having a big ego is bad. I think inherently it is actually good. I think it's about how you tame that, um, and how you limit it. Because first of all, if you have a big ego, um, it doesn't just mean that you're big-headed. It means that you have a big ambition. It means that you want to be someone. It means that you want to be one of the greats. How many times have you heard an interview or from someone or one of the greats, or heard a quote and they've always said, I'm better than this person, I'm better than this group of people, because you need to have that self-confidence and that self-belief that you can be one of the greats. You need that ego because that puts everyone at a lower level than you, and that makes you feel better about yourself. That makes you feel like you're more accomplished. And obviously, as a self-fulfilling prophecy, that means you can become accomplished. So that's one of the first steps I think that you need to achieve greatness. You need to have a big ego. At the same time, on the other side, playing devil's advocate, you need to keep it in check. If you can't always be taking the leadership positions, if someone is better than you and more experienced, then of course you learn from them and you take it from them. Whenever they speak, you listen. But at the same time, if you can see that you're maybe the smartest person in your group, then of course take that leadership role and don't be afraid. You won't be afraid. Why? Because you have the ego. You have the ego that you're better than everyone else in the room. Um, and the ego, it gives you a self-confidence which a lot of people, they don't have. They like to be quiet and they like to stay reserved, which is fine. But to be different and to achieve that height, you need to say that in your head, I'm better. And if you start believing that, you'll make big strides in your personality. Because I was always very quiet, very reserved, but I think coming onto social media and actually watching TikTok and Instagram and being blasted with brain rot has essentially forced me to come and make make some videos that try to teach people, because I've always wanted to teach people, and I think social media is one of the best ways to do it. And of course I know that inherently it comes with risks and it comes with opposition, but I remember that as a Muslim, um, the first person to oppose the Prophet ﷺ was his family, his own family, the people you love, who are always around, who grew up with you. They will be the first people to attack your character. They'll be the first person to call you a conspiracy theorist, or they'll be the first person to say, they used to call the Prophet ﷺ Majnun. They used to call him insane. This came from his own uncles. So what I'm trying to say is that strangers, well, most of the time they'll just be strangers. They'll never be as accomplished as you, and most of the time it's envy and jealousy, which is another topic. Um, but what I'm trying to say is that hold on to your ego and let it drive you sometimes. Let it take over, because it will give you that self-confidence. A lot of the times I used to struggle with confidence, and now as I get older and I get more knowledgeable, I think it's kind of weighed down and it's gone. I have a lot more confidence in myself because I see the state of society around me. And if you try to be a learned person, you'll probably have a high ego as well. That doesn't mean that you're pretentious. It means that you know your worth. And it's always a problem of keeping it balanced. Never let your ego take over so heavily that you go into a bad situation, but keep it balanced. So yeah, that's the main thing that I want to speak about today. Having an ego, keeping it in check, letting it drive you, and becoming great. And that's the way to do it with that personality trait.